Peace and blessings, fams. Brother Z in the house. Wanted to show you these right here. These are push-up bars that you can get from 5 and below. I found these at TJ Maxx. They was blowing them out. I needed them. Had a few pair in the past, but the reason why I needed them is because I had gone far too long without proper exercise, and one day I noticed I was starting to look like I was going far too long without exercise, so I had to come back to life. But I wanted to share a lesson that I learned by way of using these things. Now, as I said, and I'm being totally honest, I had gone quite some time without exercising. And so, as with anything in life, you don't use it, you lose it to one degree or another. Some things more than others. But I got them, and I've made a habit of doing push-ups before I got in my car early in the morning. Now, day one, because I had gone so long, I was only able to crank out 5 push-ups. And I did it. I did 5, and I was committed to rebuilding. So the next day I came and I pushed it to 7. The day after that, I pushed it up to 10, then 12, and today I did 16. So you can see the growth happening. It's a thing called muscle memory. The muscles are gonna remember, like, hey, yeah, I remember we was doing 35 of them on our fingertips and 50 of them like this and whatever, and we're gonna keep going and going until maybe I could catch up to my sons who are up to 100 push-ups straight and whatnot. But the significance of it and what it has to do with our salvation, our redemption, and our rise or return to rulership is, as I was thinking about my condition and these push-up bars and the fact that at first I could only do 5, that's because there's a thing called atrophy, where the muscles, when they're not engaged, they begin to tell the body or the brain tells the muscles, well, we don't need you like that. Maybe he wants to be baking pies or cookies or something, but he certainly doesn't need to push 200 pounds anymore. So, we're just going to give that energy or some strength to something else. And I look at the condition of our people, and I'm always quoting Brother Obotashaka, or Baba Obotashaka, who wrote a book called The Art of Leadership. And on page 80, he said that the African American church has lost its potency over the years because it failed to remain a constant in every area of the life of its parishioners. And when you think about years gone by, how we went to the church for our food, we went to the church not only for spiritual refreshment, but we went to the church to get our political ideas and ideologies shaped, or agendas molded and whatnot. During the boycott in Selma, Alabama, led by Dr. Martin Luther King, may God be pleased with him, he when they were boycotting, one of the reasons why the boycott was so successful was because the black folks that were not riding the bus were able to go to the churches, and the churches had organized transportation to get brothers and sisters back and forth to work until the local government applied pressure on the insurance companies to not insure any black vehicles, including the church vehicles. And then a brother named A.G. Gastons went over to Europe and connected with Lloyd's of London, and they agreed to insure everybody through him. That's a whole nother story, because he found an adverse situation and was able to build something very substantive for himself and his community. But I regrets. I digress. I'm saying that because we have gone so long without those things in place that the expectation for the church or the mosque or the masjid or the temple or the synagogue, wherever we are, in most cases, not all, so don't come at me like that, but in most cases, we're only going to our religious institutions for spiritual refreshment, or what Ben Ami used to call immediate emotional refreshment. And we're not expecting our political agendas to be shaped anymore by the church. We're not expecting to get clothing or a food program or housing. We're not expecting commerce and those things. We only go to sing, dance, or, feel closer to the Lord spiritually. And all of the other aspects of our life is not being fulfilled there. So when we see the low attendance now in the churches, it's because the attention is somewhere else now. See, because if I'm hungry, and I used to go to the church to get my food, even here in Aliquippa, we used to smell the bacon and eggs and everything at Holy Institutional, and we knew that even if I didn't eat breakfast at home, there was going to be a meal for me when I got to church. See, so when that does not happen, and my belly gets to rumbling, and I don't think of Holy Institutional Baptist Church, I have to think of Stevie's Store or Giant Eagle or Walmart, then Holy Institutional becomes irrelevant when it comes to my belly, right? When I need clothes and the church is not, or the masjid or the mosque is not presenting me with a retail outlet for me to go there and get my underwear, my shirt, my socks, and different things, then it's not relevant when it comes to me having to dress myself and my family. When I need housing and I have to rely on Section 8, which is, under this Trump administration, no longer there, then I don't think of the church or the masjid or the mosque or temple when it comes to housing my family. So it becomes irrelevant in that wise, right? So just like with my muscles and me getting these push-up bars and only being able to crank out 5 push-ups because based on my habits, based on what I haven't done, my inactivity, I told my arms and my chest that I didn't need that anymore. So the expectation for such work or effort or energy or strength, the expectation was not there anymore, and only being able to do 5 push-ups was the consequence. So when we look at the attendance of our organizations, our institutions, and they're very low attended, it's the same muscle atrophy we're not even expecting our organizations to produce that. Our babies are being slaughtered by law enforcement, by one another, and then unable to run to our institutions, our spiritual institutions, for protection. So they find protection amongst themselves in gangs and whatnot, because we've become irrelevant in that area, So, but as I continued, because the silver lining is, as I continued to push every day, challenge myself more and more, I went from 5 to 7 to 10 to 12, now to 15, and I'll probably be doing 20 tomorrow, and not soon. It won't be long before I'm at 30, so 35, 50, so I think with us, with this understanding and this being brought to our consciousness, we as a people, if we can get into the new habit of increasing the borders of our presence, of our institutions, on behalf of our people and for our people, we can begin to take our destiny in our own hands again, not only here in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, America, and the world, So that's what I look forward to us doing, us coming together, locking arms and building, and becoming more and more relevant as spiritual, as conscious organizations and communities. That's my piece. Peace and love.